The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
What is your advice on a healthy relationship? I think the one thing in a healthy relationship is never get too comfortable within your relationship. I think that you should never stop trying to go on dates and being romantic, because once you stop trying, then the romance dies and then you just don't enjoy your partner anymore. You don't get excited to see them, and it's as if you're dating your friend and not someone that you're excited about. I think people get way too comfortable within their relationships and they stop trying, they stop getting ready for each other, they stop asking each other if they want to go to certain places with each other, or just planning dates in general. I know that I had to deal with that for a really long time, and I just did not want the spark to go away. And date nights are so important. If you can set aside a date night for your partner, that is one of the most important things, because it brings you guys closer together. It makes you re-fall in love with your partner. And it's a beautiful thing. Also, keeping your sex drive alive. And you can do that in so many different ways. If you need to bring in toys, if you need to go to a sex therapist. I've heard some people talking about sex therapists so much recently. And it helps a lot. You always need to keep your sex drive up there. And I think sex, even though people don't want to admit it, sex is a huge part of a relationship. If you don't have a good sex life, then your relationship feels a little dull. You need to be best friends with your partner, and your partner needs to be able to be that person for you, that's your comfort person, but also you want to come home and be excited. Don't see your partner every single day of your life. And I have so many friends, including myself, where I feel like I need to see my partner constantly, or they leave their friends to see their partners. And you see them every single day. You already know what's going on with their day. You know their entire schedule at all times. There's no curiosity anymore, and you need to keep that curiosity alive, or else you just know a lot about one person that you just keep hanging out with. It's like being with your best friend and knowing everything that's going on in their life. You get bored, and you don't want to get bored. And another thing I could really say is always maintain your friendships outside of your relationship, because God forbid your relationship does not work out, you still have your friends. And to have your own life aside from each other is so important, because I feel like when you are so consumed with someone, you will lose a huge part of yourself. And if you guys ever end, it feels like part of you died. And it's a horrible, horrible feeling. Someone sent me in a story. There's this boy I really like, and he's really close to me, but I think he likes my friend, and she likes him too. I think he's going to ask her out, and I feel so heartbroken. What do I do? You cannot keep two people from loving each other. That's the one thing that you cannot do. And if he doesn't like you, there are 8,000 other people out there, and I know it's going to hurt in the moment, but if this is one of your best friends and he's one of your close friends, you just have to let them be happy. And if they decide to want to be together, you need to support it. Even if it hurts you, you need to support it, because he is not your end all be all. He did not choose you, so you do not choose him. Someone asked me, how do I deal with a long distance relationship? I think that the one thing that makes long distance relationships even work is honesty and trust. If you don't have honesty and trust within your relationship, it will never work. And communication. If you guys are not communicating, and no, I don't mean you need to communicate every single day, every hour on the day, but just checking in with each other and making sure that you have that reassurance. Because if you are an overthinker like I am, how overthinkers stop overthinking is getting constant reassurance. And no, it's not the most amazing thing that you should have, but if your partner really loves you, they have no problem doing that. So the only thing that even lasts in long distance relationships is the only thing that even makes long distance relationships last is trust, honesty, and communication. And if you don't feel like you can do that, if you feel like your boyfriend is in college or your girlfriend is in college and you are so scared that they're going to hook up with people or do anything, that's an insecurity within yourself. And that's something that you need to understand why you feel that way, or if your partner ever gave you even a reason to make you feel that way. If they ever cheated on you, then it makes complete sense why you feel that way. But if they never gave you reason to ever not trust them, then you have no reason to worry. You should never have to be with someone every single day in order for you to feel like your relationship is healthy. How to get over someone when it's your fault that the relationship ended. So when I was in high school, I had a boyfriend for 3 years, and he went to college, and I told him I wanted to go on a break because I felt like I was dating my phone. And then I hooked up with someone, and he never wanted to come back to me. And that breakup was 110% my fault. And dealing with that was one of the hardest things to deal with because I truly saw a bright future with this guy. I loved him to death. But I also knew that he was so hurt by me that nothing I could ever do will ever fix this. And just giving him time in order to heal was the only thing that I could give him if I loved him. And you eventually have to start doing things that are better for yourself and bettering yourself as a person if you really love someone else. If you really love someone else, better yourself for them if that's the case. If you truly want to get back together with them, better yourself for them because they will see that you are changing for the better in life. But there's no way to fix someone after you've broken them. Only they can fix their own broken heart. And you can never get mad at them for how they choose to fix it. And 6 years later, I ended up seeing my ex-boyfriend after no contact, no nothing. He had me blocked on everything. This man was heartbroken. He already went through another relationship and everything. And when we talked, and I was so apologetic about how much I hurt him because I knew deep down in my soul I really fucked him up. He accepted that apology. There was closure there, and he told me about how if you think that your partner is not going through something because they seem like they are happy after the relationship, I promise you they are going through it. They're just not showing it. And he was going through it for a really long time, just as I was. But the only difference is I expressed it and he didn't. We finally got that closure 6 years later. Someone asked, how do I stop comparing myself to my boyfriend's ex-girlfriend? That is the hardest thing to do. That is genuinely one of the hardest things to do because for some reason, you can't comprehend the fact that the person you love loved someone else. And so you're like, why did they love this person? And you start stalking their social media and you start trying to figure out what they did differently or what you guys do similarly. And then you're like, did he do this with her? Or am I different? What is the difference between us? Do we look alike? Is there somewhat that we look alike? Do we dress the same? What is it? And you honestly start to become a little more obsessed with the ex-girlfriend within your relationship because you're like, am I the right person for him? Because now I feel like she's the right person for him because I keep stalking her on social media. I keep looking at all of her shit. She seems like she's a funny girl. She seems like she gets along with everyone, has a ton of friends, dresses up to the nines and she looks pretty. Am I the right girl for him? I don't know. And you start to fucking question you and your entire relationship. You start to think that you are not ready, you are not right for him, and it starts to put an insecurity on yourself. But you do have to realize at some point, and this is the hardest thing to realize, he chose you for a reason, and their relationship did not work out for a reason. And if you guys break up, it does not mean he's gonna go back to his ex-girlfriend. And that is one of the biggest fears that you now have because you've stalked her so much. How can I stop my anxious attachment to my boyfriend? I feel clingy. You cannot make someone love you by loving them harder. It will never work. And the more you give them to deal with, the more they will push you away. And you will sabotage your own relationship while doing it. And I know you're thinking, but I want to spend time with him. I want to do this for him. I want to do that for him. Sometimes people just need space, and that's okay. It's a completely normal thing. But if you want your relationship to work out, you need to stop projecting your insecurities onto him and stop pushing so much of your life onto him, because you have to realize you guys have separate lives. You just decided to be together and conjoin your lives. But you have your own life and you need to maintain your own life. And by the way, every guy's biggest turn on is a confident, independent woman. And if you are just clinging on to him and doing everything you possibly can to be around him, you will push him so far away. But if you are busy constantly and having shit to do, he's going to want your attention more than anything. Even if you're not actually busy, fucking pretend you are. Pretend you're going to a Pilates class in the morning. Don't actually go. Just text him 3 hours later and say, I went to this Pilates class. Sorry. What are you doing today? Just surprise him with the fact that you might have your own life. And it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. He's going to want to spend time with you when you distance yourself from being so involved within him.